Welcome to The Surprise Truth, a podcast where a timely insight can change your life forever. I'm here with Geetha Narayanan from the Srishti Foundation and many other things that she has done. She's going to tell us a bit about that. The Surprise Truth, as you would realize, is an insight that if you knew about it, could change your life forever because it would have an impact on your outcomes and the things that you do. And Geetha, today I'm here with you to understand some of the surprise truths that you have discovered on your life journey. I would start from the big picture of, looking at the world in the way the world is today. Are there any surprise truths you feel people should know about it or realize about it, which we may not be looking at, how the world is today and how it's developing? Are there any things that you feel that you would like to share, maybe with the young generation, that they may not have seen the potential of the world we are living in today?
I think the world we're living in today is no real different from what it was, say, when I was much younger. I think there was always complexity, there was always uncertainty, and there were always problems. Whether the nature of the problems may seem much more difficult to solve today, and perhaps they are, but at the time that when I was a young person and I was setting out onto the road of being a teacher and an educator, I think there were huge problems as well. And so what I would like to actually point out to young people is not to be afraid, because a lot of people don't start out doing what they think they want to do or think that they can solve a problem because they're afraid of what the future forecasts may be. So I'll repeat what I said at the Pune Design Festival about a couple of weeks ago. I said, embrace every dangerous idea you come across and do not expect it to fit into an Excel ROI sheet. Okay. Take it forward, live it, chase it. It doesn't matter how dangerous it is the way to take your own life forward, to build yourself.
So for that you would need a lot of courage. Do you think there is anything we could do in order to be fearless?
I think that you have to be obstinate, you have to be persistent, and again what I said at the Pune Design Festival, be a high adrenaline junkie.
Very well put, I would say. So, I looked at a little bit about what you do, and I've seen that you have a very strong interest in art, design and technology. What do you say is the interplay? What's the surprise truth between the interplay of these? In traditional ways, people think they are different.
Well, they are different, but they're not. I think the mindset is one that one has to be. I hesitate to use the word creative because it's so overworked today that you don't really understand what it is anymore. But I think art brought into my life a sense of what was possible, what was open, and what was unsaid. Art really tries to talk about things that are in the void, that are unsaid, and they make it visible, they make it something that you can have a conversation about.
Yeah.
The second part of it is technology and art have always been married. You couldn't get a print if you didn't understand lithography or printmaking, and so they're not new. And neither is design and technology. They were always married together. And in many ways, so was art and design. I think the idea of merging the three came because you had education programs in art and design, you had education programs in design and technology, you had pure art, pure design and pure technology in India. And so I think that in 1996, when we decided we would like to look at the intersections of the three, it wasn't simple. Yeah. There were lots of wars and fights about it, but it's turned out to be the right way to look at it.
Okay. So have you seen any surprise truths in learners or people who come to you, who are your students in Srishti as well as in all the other programs you run? Do you see any surprise truth in the way they look at learning today compared to much earlier? Or do you see that there is a willingness to learn, or do they understand what they want to do? Have you noticed anything particularly there?
See, the field of art, design and technology is slightly different from engineering, medicine or law.
Correct.
Right? Engineering, medicine and law attracts students who have been either pushing themselves and have an aptitude, or are pushed by the system because that's where you're supposed to make your life. And management became a commerce and management. So the kind of students who used to come into art, design and technology, I'm talking about the years 96 to about maybe even 2005, 2006, that decade, were either second generation or third generation children of practitioners,
Okay.
or people on whom the system had given up and parents felt that this was the place that they could be parked, right? But actually they turned out to be wonderfully creative people and were just in the wrong place. So Srishti helped them find themselves. I think the difference in 2024 is the regulatory frameworks under which art and design have been turned into very formal university degrees, is that people no longer see the difference from being a creative practitioner to somebody who's just earning a degree. Right?
Okay.
So they feel that their life is going to be after the degree, and the process is not that important.
Okay, yes.
Earlier, the process was very important in the way they found themselves, right? And that they really valued that journey of how art and design and the way technology was introduced to them. They were able to find out who they were and what they wanted to do. I can tell you a story about this.
Yes,
okay?
please.
So, two stories. One was a young man who joined us to learn furniture design.
Okay.
And then when it came to do his diploma project, because we weren't offering degrees then, he came to me and he said, I don't want to do a furniture design diploma project, I just want to do a photography project. And now, under the current regulatory frameworks, we could not have said yes, because we would have said, have you got enough credits in this? Where is that? We didn't have any of those frameworks. So I said, well, if your portfolio that you bring satisfies an external jury that you are a creative practitioner, can go out, yes. But then you would, we'd have to look at the nomenclature of the diploma that we give you. He's a very successful photographer today. Right? And the second is somebody who came to study fashion and again wanted to go into photography. He's number one today in the country in fashion photography. So I'm just trying to say that in those years, the surprises were that the kids decided who they were at the end of the education and convinced us who they were and survived beyond that. I have to wait to see what the current generation is going to do, where we have now systematized it.
Yes.
And maybe that's a problem in itself.
Yes, but I see that we are constantly evolving.
Yes.
And trying to keep in pace with how.
Yeah. So the disruption of ChatGPT is very welcome, because anything that disrupts definitely turns out something for the better.
Correct. So Geetha, I want to talk a little bit about your own journey. So you mentioned that the process is important, right? And the outcome is important too, but the process is also important. So do you feel that there was any surprise truth you learned about yourself? Maybe some skill that you never knew you had, or an aspiration you never knew you had, and then you discovered it while you were in your early formative years of university, college, or in your early stages of working? Were there any surprise moments which you were yourself surprised about?
Well, when I was in college, I was considered extremely laid back and lazy.
Okay.
I never was ambitious. I never tried to get high marks. I enjoyed the company of my friends. I enjoyed college. I was doing mathematics honors, and then I did. The real surprise of a passion came when I started doing my B.Ed, when I found that I was interested really in something beyond just becoming a teacher, that the actual psychology of learning really took me, and I had a very, very good teacher, Professor M.R. Srinivas Rao, and he gave me a passion which has lasted a lifetime. I didn't know then that passion would drive me for a lifetime, because it was this absolute spark. He was a very, very passionate teacher. He was also very difficult where I was concerned. He would always turn up at my practice teaching lessons and eventually have me in tears because of the criticism. But he saw something there that perhaps I didn't see. But that passion for understanding learning and its psychological and scientific underpinnings have perhaps a direct relationship to my work currently with consciousness. It has lasted 50 years. And that is a surprise. that somebody can come and charge you to that level of taking you from being indolent and idle and just letting life pass you by to taking on something with the perseverance that I have shown over the last few decades.
So that was a timely insight that changed your life forever.
It was a timely insight. It changed my life forever. And it was just one man, M.R. Srinivas Rao.
Yeah, so we actually encourage our viewers to also learn from these episodes and these podcasts, because you never know what kind of an insight can really change your life forever. So I actually wanted to get a little bit more, pick your brains a little bit more about, one of the things that young people face today is thinking that they have a passion and then it will last a lifetime, whereas you may continuously find yourself discovering new passions. And maybe because you never had an opportunity to discover the passion earlier. Do you think there's a time limit, age limit in this process? Or do you feel that people can get that spark of motivation at any point of time in their life?
I think
what's your view on that whole thing?
I think you can get it at any point in your time. For example, my passion for art and design came much later. I started out by being just a classroom teacher of mathematics. Correct. And really wanting to get everybody to love mathematics and use my diving into learning principles and learning theories to get that. But I went into art in a very roundabout way, and I really started enjoying it because I started meeting artists and meeting them, and then design. And so again, I think I'm an accidental designer and an accidental artist. I was never trained professionally to be one of them. But I sensed that opportunity when it was there to meet people, and they've all been my friends for life, right? They've taught me through their practice, but I was interested enough to search for it.
Correct.
I didn't just let life pass me by. I delved, I was curious, I pushed, and that happened, and then it happened.
So those are the skills you believe that if you were to say 2 or 3 skills that young people should have that allow them to transform their own lives, what would those 2 or 3 skills be?
I think curiosity.
Okay.
I think, if you meet somebody and that person is interesting, the second one is to pursue, to go and talk to them and say, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Can you share something with me? So then you start getting a new pursuit. So you have to be open, to be curious, because if you're not open and curious, you never are open to looking at anything. Second thing is, if you're open and curious, pursue it. Technology became something I pursued. It was not something that was given to me, right? But when I started becoming interested in technology, I've been, chasing technology again. So it's something that you have to be able to. So I think the operative words are to be open and curious.
Yes.
And pursue, I would even use the word chase.
Chase, okay.
Right, you need to chase something.
The quest.
The quest. You can't just sit back and think it's going to happen.
Yes.
It really happens only when you are chasing somebody or something.
So coming back to that, what are your current pursuits? What are you trying to achieve today? Today, going forward, what is the thing that really drives you in the next achievement that you're looking for?
I think that what everybody really criticized what I've done is that I did things very well on a diminutive scale.
Okay.
Right? I helped set up a small trust. I set up a school with my friends and co-partners. And the same thing happened with Srishti. I worked with underprivileged with another activist, Anita Reddy. But in every case, I went into it at very, very fine micro levels of detail. Today, I think the 74 years kicks in, right? And you start reflecting. And so even today, when I was talking to Professor Anil, I really wanted to say, I have this, take it, scale it.
Scale it. So is that something you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to doing that.
Working with people who can scale?
I want people to take what we have and take it forward. I have a great middle school program. I have a great program which looks at learning differently for underprivileged. I have the models that we have worked out at Srishti, which allow you to take the national education policy to its new levels. So I think that I'm not asking for money for all that. I think it's finished. You can't take this with you where you're going, but you can give it away.
Yes.
And if people are willing to take it and work with it, take it to your ASEAN neighborhood, or take it just in Karnataka or the rest of India, That's what I would like to do, because I do think now the more people who have access to work that was intense but very quality conscious and
Yes.
successful,
Yes.
I think that they should be able to take it, and they can do what I didn't do. They can scale it.
Absolutely right. In fact, accelerating great ideas and successful
Yes.
ideas is a way forward.
Yes.
And I would really encourage all our viewers to look at, in this episode, you will find details of how you can get in touch with Geetha Narayanan at Srishti Foundation. And I would encourage more collaboration and have a chat and see how you can be a part of continuing the journey and taking Geetha along with you to the ASEAN nations, where I'm sure you would be very happy to have a look at
Yes.
what's going on and how you can add value there.
Particularly to countries like Laos and Vietnam, Cambodia,
exactly.
Places which have similar kind of issues that we have.
Absolutely right.
And
they,
where there's a lively sense of art and craft,
yes,
and the handmade, all are there. So
and if you were to visit, you would see that. That would be your surprise truth.
Yeah.
To see how much similarity there is
yes.
between ASEAN and India.
Yes.
Okay.
I would be fortunate if I can do that.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
So we close with that. Thank you, Geetha, for being
Thank
here, and look forward to more episodes of The Surprise Truth, where a timely insight can change your life forever. Thank you very much, and see you at the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geetha. That was so good.